Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and it's time for the next layout in our 101 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketches book. We are going to be working from page 22, and I'm going to be using our Birds and Blossoms collection to create a fun Easter basket layout based on the zoo one in the book. And I will link the original blog post in the description box below this video for you all if you would like to make the zoo layout as well. But Easter's coming, and I thought this would be fun for some of those Easter hunt photos that you all will be taking coming up. So let's get to it. Here is page 22, and if you would like to get a screenshot of some of my measurements, this one was a little bit more, I guess, if you will, but I still simplified it a bit and changed out some of the measurements from what's in the top of our page in the original sketch. But it definitely inspired me, and especially this part is what inspired my Easter basket handle that we'll be creating. But ours is going to be a little bit simpler, not quite so intricate. I am going to be using 2 sheets of our baby blue cardstock as the base for this layout. I also have pulled out the papers that have the monarch butterflies on one side and the orange on the opposite side, the floral on one side and the green leaves on the back, and the kind of craft paper looking page that has the birds on the back of it. And that's going to be kind of the initial base of our layout. I am also going to be using several of our 4.5 by 6.5 mats and a couple of our punches here. So you can see here I did pull out my brocade chain border maker cartridge here to punch 2 borders for this layout. And I also did use my square punch quite a bit to punch our handle that's going to be for our Easter basket. You could also use your circle, and I will show you kind of what a half circle would look like as well. But I just liked the look of the square. I think I'm just kind of continuing on with this little bit of a squared off theme. I did my little bunny with a square tail on it for my card, and I don't know, I just did. If you want to make Easter eggs to go with this layout, take a look at my Easter card video, because I do talk through how I made these little Easter eggs, and I'm not actually putting any on this particular layout, but if you would like to, it's an easy way to find out how to do that. And as you can see, when I punched my squares, I was almost completely in a straight line. I realized afterwards that I probably could have gotten, this was my very first one, and then afterwards I went really nice and straight for the rest of them. But I think we might actually use our negative for another layout coming up. I have an idea, go figure. Gave me an idea for something else. I'll see if I can find a sketch to match it or not. If not, I'll just put this one together and show you all how to use your negative if you decide to make the Easter basket. And what else do I have here? Oh, I have the circle. I want to show you the difference between our squares we're going to be doing that I cut in half versus if you took the circle punch and cut those in half. But first, let me start sticking down a couple of these other pieces here. We're going to start with our 3-inch by 12-inch piece going across the bottom of our page. This is kind of the inspiration and the basis for my basket. Let's get the sheet put down across the bottom. We're just lining it up along the bottom of our cardstock here. And one of the things, again, of why this particular sketch drew me to doing the basket was we also had this little corner here. And theirs was a 2.5-inch square cut diagonally, and I went with 3-inch, and then I added this extra strip across the bottom of the page to give our illusion of a basket. So I have my 1-inch strip that's going to go in behind. Let me do that one first. And then we're going to add our half square. My 3-inch square is going to go in this corner. Actually, yeah, we can do the 3-inch square first. Why not? Sometimes I kind of get an idea for how I think these are going to go together. And then when I'm putting them together, it's kind of like re-putting together a puzzle a little bit. It always seems to work out, though. They're fun. I enjoy doing these layouts for you all. I hope you all enjoy seeing my interpretations of the different sketches in the book and showing you some different ideas that the sketches can give you. I know a lot of people are doing the exact sketch, and I guess that's just not me. So hopefully I'm inspiring you all to see you can take these sketches and kind of go in a different direction with them as well. So I'm placing this 1-inch strip behind our 3-inch piece here, and I went about 1/4 of an inch below the back side of this piece there. So essentially we've got 3/4 of an inch sticking up, but I liked the look of it being layered rather than me trying to line it up exactly. Again, just trying to give myself a little bit of grace and make it a little bit easier on myself. And I thought, I know I don't always put tape runner along these seams, so I knew I'd be able to just tuck that under. So either know how you do your tape runner or make sure you leave a little space there. And then our border is going to go across the top part of the brown craft paper looking 3-inch strip. So here. So that's going to kind of mimic our basket. So our basket's a little different than my other basket. I used the mirrored scallop chain on my card, and I thought, you know what, let's do something a little different and show another interpretation of something you can do to create an Easter basket look. Now, for these square pieces, so I originally looked at it with them coming this direction, and I thought, that kind of doesn't say easy to hold basket handle, or it doesn't like inspire me to think of a basket handle. But when you put them this way, it adds that little bit of a curve, kind of, it's a little geometric, I guess, if you will, but it does inspire that curved look going around with the eye. So we're kind of tricking our eye here a little bit, I guess. Now, could you do the same thing with the circle punch and with the circles? Absolutely. So I had one I cut for, I don't know, another project. I went ahead and cut it in half. So that way I could show you. You could have that bumpy look, and if you use the mirrored scallop chain through here, you might want to go with circles instead of the squares. So just giving you all another idea. But as you can see again, if you put it this way, it doesn't have that same effect. It doesn't have the same look. So we definitely want our points going out. And if you use your circle or your custom cutting system circles, I guess, because the punches do a 1 3/4 inch circle or a 1 3/4 inch square. And you can cut these on your trimmer as well if you don't have the punch. I just find the punch is just so easy. I seem to be reaching for it more and more. So we're going to get these placed around, and I'm going to use my repositionable tape, and I'm going to kind of lightly put these down because this way we'll give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room too. I kind of, I'm flipping my paper. So I use the Monarch paper again for my basket handle. Originally, I thought I would just use the Monarch all the way around and to have the brocade chain be with the Monarchs as well, but then it just didn't pop as much. So, and if y'all have been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know I tend to be a little bit funny about color. So there we go. So I'm glad I liked both sides of the paper, and I am creating a pattern where I have one up and then the other one up as I'm going around here. Let's see. Actually, I probably should have started from the other end because we have, how many squares did I cut? Did I tell you all how many squares I cut? I don't think I did because I started talking about the circle. Let me find that. I did 7 squares. So on my little book, I wrote 6.5 because 6.5 is what is actually going to fit on your page. So I cut that final, this full one here in half. So that way I could continue my pattern because yes, I know I'm funny about color and I wanted to start and end with the orange. Just because it gives it that nicer look, I think. And sometimes paying attention to detail is not a bad thing. So these are not going to be touching. So you will be able to space these out just a little bit, and it's okay if they're not completely linear through here, but I think it will look nicer if they are. So it's up to you if you want to get your ruler out and make sure that they're exactly precise. Otherwise, I'm just tapping them a little bit here. Follow this angle around and through, leaving about 1/2 inch. I will measure. Yep, 1/2 inch. Look at that. I'm getting pretty good at that. That's not a bad thing to be able to do. And this one just needs a little bit of a tweak here as well. Going straight down. Okay. So you can see it creates that movement going across and through the page. Your baskets usually aren't complete rectangles. So adding this extra little square kind of gives that extra also dimension to what's going to be our basket going through the page. It's kind of like it's a short, longish basket, but it works. And now, let's see here. These are my two 4.5 by 6.5 mats. And so I am only getting 2 photos on this page. You can put a third one down here as well, but I found this really pretty mat, so I wanted to use it instead. And there are so many beautiful reasons to be happy. And I thought, it's just a beautiful Easter sentiment. I have a couple of stickers I'm going to add as well, but let's get these mats down first. And then I will also show you the inspiration sketch again. So that way you can see how, it's kind of similar. Like I said, it's definitely, I call them inspiration sketches for a reason. It was inspired by the sketch. It's just not what we're doing. All right. There's this one. And we're leaving a little bit of space again in between here, but it's probably closer to 1 inch in between because I do have a sticker I am going to place in between coming up as well. So that's good across the bottom. I will measure this space as well for you all to give you a better idea of my placement here. Yeah, exactly 1 inch. And then I have this bird on a branch that I thought might be kind of fun to put up here. Let me grab a foam square. I can find my sheet here. Goodness, I'm doing so many different types of projects here. I'm losing things. I feel like I need 1/2 of one of those little ones again. Let me cut that one at a corner here. There we go, diagonal. Grab one of them. There we go. And I actually want this other corner for this bottom stability on our branch. There we go. Feel pretty good about that. There we go. So you can see my foam square placement. And this one is going up here. kind of like it's perching on the top of our basket handle at the top here. So here is the left side. Oh, I forgot my butterfly. Well, that's okay. I'm going to show you the left side and then I'm going to put my other butterfly down. Because I have one more sticker up here and I didn't realize I'd missed it. Just the little orange monarch here. Just going through the center. There. Okay. So this is our inspiration sketch, and you can see where they used 3 different papers, and their squares were 1.5 inch that they cut diagonally to create this pattern here. So you could, like I said, I looked at it both ways, and then I also did look at it, together as well. But I liked the illusion of the open for the basket. So that's what I wound up doing. I think it turned out pretty well, and you'll see when we get both of these pages together, it kind of looks like an Easter basket. It's nice how sometimes these things in my mind work out. All right. So on this right side, we're doing essentially the same thing. We're going to finish the rest of our Easter basket. So we have our 3-inch by 12-inch strip going down first here again at the bottom of our page. And then I'm going to place this triangle again in the corner like we have on the other side. So this layout does have a little bit more symmetry to it as well. Whoops. And again, with creating the pattern with the half squares as well going up. Okay, and again, place this about 1/4 of an inch underneath. I'm going to grab out my other sheet just to make sure I get my placement. So it's going to run nicely through both pages here. Oh, this needs to go down just a little bit more here. And then run it across. Yep. There we go. Like I said, it's giving that, oh, you can see the start of it already, giving the illusion with your eye, and you'll see how it'll run through both pages. And that's it. Sometimes it's just a matter of, and not necessarily tricking your eyes, but I mean, your eyes are going to be looking at the photos, but it's nice that your photos have just a pretty little platform to hang out on, right? Okay, and I do want this to come in going the same direction or the same pattern. Again, I'm kind of trying to be a little cohesive through both of my pages. So when you do your brocade chain and you're running it along the top end of this craft paper looking page here, I am looking to see that this little end here is on the left side of both pages. All right, so now we can get into some of our other circles. Let me move these other mats. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you all the backside of the other mats, but we have 6 mats that essentially have the same look to them. They're just different colors and they all have dots in the center. So hopefully that explains it a little bit better, but they're all the squared ones. There's a couple that had like a rounded corner to it, but I didn't want that because all of our edges are sharp pretty much through our page except for our brocade chain, which just helps to define our basket a little bit, really. So I didn't want to use the other one. Whoops, I meant to use the repositionable tape on that. Okay, well, that's all right. And let's see here. Let me make sure I get this other half connected to this one, because that's also something that you want to run even though they're going to be separate in your book, or not necessarily separate, but it's going to be apart a little bit. I want to make sure it kind of, again, where your eye might notice that. And so when it's apart, you kind of want to make sure it follows that same line as well. Okay, now we've got our next butterfly. And then I'm just going to lightly place these, and then I will adjust and press down. But we need to kind of get them all lined up first, so that way we know our corner is going to work out nicely and our whole basket handle. Okay, oops, that's definitely not going to go exactly like that. And then our last two here. All right. Starting down, coming up and around. And like I said, I almost felt like on the other side I should have started here, so I am. That's kind of where I started the initial one, and I will double check it against our other page here. That needs to move over just a hair. I think this one needs to move over just a hair as well, because I feel like my corner is a little bit crowded on this side somehow. Yep, this actually needs to go over because we're following this angle coming from the corner as well. And then this one can go up a little bit and a little closer to my edge. And this one's going up a little bit as well. So again, it's your eyes are what's creating the movement with the handle, but you're just kind of helping to assist it a little bit. Uh-oh. Don't want that. Stay straight. Okay. Not too shabby. So I have the green and the yellow mats that are going to go on this side. And there was I think also the, I don't know, there was a dark blue and a gray, I believe, were the last two that went with these 6. And I thought it would have been fun to use all 6 on a page together, but it didn't work out that way. Okay, we're going to start with our Little Birdie Told Me. So this way we have a place to journal on our page. And write about that really fun Easter egg hunt that those kids always seem to enjoy. I know my kids loved it. We would do the Easter egg hunts out and about, and then they also had me hide eggs at home too. And for a long time, like I think they would still hunt for eggs, even though they're technically adults now if I ask them, but it's okay. I don't think we're going to do that this year, but who knows? Okay, I'm leaving about an inch again here in the center, but you can kind of see, and I did this on the other end as well, or the other side of the page. I'll show you when I bring the page back in. This corner here matches this corner here, that matches that corner here. So you can see it's all creating that linear look, that illusion with your eyes, and you're going to just follow through, and your photos are just going to be fantastic on this page. I'm excited about this one. Here's one of our blue butterflies. We have 2 blue ones on this page from our sticker sheet. This one was a little bit larger than the other one. The larger one is going to go in the bottom here. And that is it. Let me hold this one up to the camera for you all to see up close here. That right side of the page. And then I'm going to bring back in the left side again, so that way you can see the whole effect of the 2 pages together. And actually, there we go. I just wanted to get my logo off of there because it was covering up our corner, so that way you could see how this flowed through here. And this end flows through here. All right, let me know what y'all think about my geometric Easter basket here. Something a little different. I know it's a different interpretation, but I just really got inspired and I just loved it, how it turned out. So I hope you all like that too. And here was our original sketch inspiration again. So you can see they pretty much just had 2 photos as well, a journal box and a title mat on their page here. And I wound up with 2 photos and a title mat, but also with the journal box over here. Could you do smaller photos? Absolutely. And y'all know a lot of times I don't color in the lines anyways. And so if you want, so here's just kind of a show of what it would look like with a photo. I don't really actually have a photo close by, but you could actually even take these mats and do 2 smaller photos, because remember they're 4.5 by 6.5. So if you do 3 by 3 photos, you could stack 2 photos here, or do, one horizontal and 1 vertical in each mat as well if you want to fit more, or use a peekaboo pocket. And you could easily put little doors here and little doors there. You would have to work with your page protectors to do it that way though. Or make sure you put them on top, put the peekaboos on top of your page protectors. But just wanted to give you all a quick idea and an easier interpretation of our sketch. Now let's get into our card as well. So many of you know that one of the things I am doing with this 101 Sketches and Page Challenge is showing you all a way to use up some of your scraps, and also doing a card inspired by either the layout or some of our scraps from the layout. And that's what this card is going to be. I have one of our cards from our blank card kit. I pulled out my little card mat because this one I want to be a little bit more linear for. So I'm going to line it up just along the left side of my measurement here. Let me grab my other mat again, my tape runner. This is straight. I'm so daggone you. Okay. I have a piece of canary cardstock, and this is 4 inches by 5.5. This is one of our scraps from one of our recent Birds and Blossoms layouts. And so I'm going to bring it in 1/4 of an inch. No, 1/8 of an inch. Yep, I need 1/8 of an inch at the top and the bottom going across my card. And then I also had a extra bit of our floral paper. We're going to use the green leaf side up on this side. And this piece is 3 inches by 5.5 inches. It's also going to run through the center of our card. So 3 inches, I need 1.5 inches, but not quite, because I'm running it through the middle of this, about 1/2 inch on the top and bottom from my canary. And this piece is from our monarch paper. It was actually the end piece from when I was doing some of my square punches, because I wound up punching way more than what I needed. Not quite way more, but a few more. And so this is 3/4 of an inch by 5.5 inches. And we're going to center this one as well. So this is right here. Okay, so you want to be right around the, oops, I have a little bit of extra tape on, I tucked under and it came untucked on me. Let me fix that. Grab my multi-purpose tool to help spatula that under a little bit. Or actually, I'm just going to Pull that end one off. Put this other one under here. And we are right at 1 3/4, right below 1 3/4 with the placement of that. I actually had to grab out my 0 centering ruler because we had 3/8 of an inch on each side on the top and bottom here to get that lined up, but looks good. Happy with that. And I have 3 extra squares. Like I said, I punched more than what I actually wound up needing to make the basket in our layout. So that was one of the things where I have 3 extra squares, plus I have the other one I cut in half to show you all the difference between the circle and the square. So I wound up with a few extra here. My placement is going to go about 1/4 of an inch below the top here, and that's about 1/8. And that's going to be about 1/8 of an inch above the bottom of the canary is what I'm looking at. About 1/8 of an inch along this line with our canary cardstock. And we're going to have 3 of our squares on the edge. This is about just under 1/2 inch. Again, 3/8. So apparently I am all about the 3/8 right now. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to line that one up about 1/8 of an inch up and 3/8 in from this side here, just to make sure it's kind of even. And then I pulled out 2 of our stickers from our sticker pack. I have our love and our floral, and I thought, it is spring and Valentine's Day has happened. I don't think this really would be a good Valentine's Day card. However, I do think this one might be a good either Easter, because I think these are daffodils. And I know a lot of times we have Easter lilies, and they look kind of similar, I think, ish, maybe. And I do like the garden. I know they're not the same flower. And then I have my love up here, but I thought, maybe this might be a good sympathy card even. And just sending a little bit of love to somebody that is hurting or feeling blue coming out of winter or has had a loss. And, even a month or something after, because it seems like a lot of times when people have a death in the family, everybody sends things right away. And then that person, you kind of forget about them. You get busy with your own life. Well, send a little love a month or 2 later. Let your friend know that you're still thinking about them. And just adding that little pop of yellow and bringing back in our orange gives our card that little bit of extra cohesion as well. All right. That is it for this episode based on the sketch on page 22. I hope you all enjoyed my interpretations of the sketch. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions or something you would like me to demonstrate on a short, I'll be happy to do that as well. Just let me know. Until next time.